Now, the New York Times is accusing Julian Assange of having a sinister relationship with Russia, using WikiLeaks to take down the West with support from Moscow. Well, to get more on this, we're joined now by Laura Smith. And Laura, just to discuss the accusations and WikiLeaks' reaction, which we understand has been pretty strong.
It has been pretty strong. Actually, there's quite an amusing exchange on Twitter in terms of hitting back. The New York Times left itself wide open, really, by posting this article under the headline, "Has WikiLeaks become a laundering machine for compromising material gathered by Russian spies?" And WikiLeaks just responded, no. It's unusually pithy for WikiLeaks, actually. They're not known for their brevity, but they did have an opportunity to hit back more widely in a statement that they released, and they refuted this New York Times article at length and pretty much point by point. Of course, the New York Times was casting aspersions on WikiLeaks' motivations. The article makes a number of assertions, most of them aimed at proving its thesis that Assange goes out of his way not to criticise Russia and that Russia benefits from his revelations about Western powers. So he goes through it line by line. Essentially, I'm not going to do that now. We've just got a couple of points for you. They say that Assange was never issued a Russian visa in response to the New York Times assertion that he was, and to the assertion that WikiLeaks never criticises Putin or Russia. WikiLeaks says that they've published 650,000 documents about Russia and about Putin, most of them critical. WikiLeaks finishes by implying that the New York Times, which is so hot on Assange's motivations, actually has driving forces of its own. Of course, we know that the New York Times publicly endorsed Hillary Clinton, but here's what Julian Assange had to say about Hillary Clinton on RT's Going Underground programme. Take a listen.
Hillary Clinton has done quite well strategically to try and draw connection between Trump and Russia, because she has so many connections of her own. The US government, at the time that Hillary Clinton was in charge of foreign policy, did use Libya as a conduit to get arms to jihadists. The relationships between Hillary Clinton and Saudi Arabia, between the Clinton Foundation and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is probably the largest single donor to the Clinton Foundation.
So Assange not a fan of Clinton, and he implies that the New York Times is basing its article on its favouritism about domestic politics, perhaps, but maybe also personal feelings. One of the things that WikiLeaks says at the end of its statement is that one of the article's authors previously wrote that Assange was a bag lady who had filthy socks and who smells.
A nice one to end on. Thanks, Laura. That was RT's Laura Smith there in London. Thank you. You're watching RT International. We'll have more news in 2 minutes.